Robert Reagan reading a short story I wrote called Carly and the Snowstorm. Carly sits inside a cafe exhibiting brilliance. Her long brown hair shines in the fluorescent lights. It's a sight, still you should see her eyes, brown and shining even more. When she spots me over by the counter staring at her, she waves. There has to be something special about me, otherwise she wouldn't give me the time of night. I don't know it yet, but she's going to give me the time of my life. Back at her apartment there is only a couch. Not for her friends, they all sit on the floor. This is where she watches black and white 60s movies until she drifts off to sleep. Though tonight she will share it with me when we snuggle up with each other for warmth with no TV to watch. First there's the snowstorm and the power outage. While everyone was still there, when the night was as young as a newborn, someone looked out the window and said, "Hey Carly, it's snowing outside." Of course everyone got up to look. It was like they'd never seen snow before. Carly, being the free spirit that she is, said, "Come on everybody, let's go play in the snow." There we were out on the street in front of the building. The murals painted on it by gang members were starting to ice over. We were all kids again, kids in an epic snowball fight. "It sure is nice to hang outside without worrying about getting shot," Carly said. That's when I told her that someone would probably be coming by on a bobsled any minute now to shoot us with a Uzi. All of her friends laughed and bombarded me with snowball wounds. After that, Carly and her friend Sarah suggested that we build a snowman. Everyone got in a rush, piling up piles of snow to make each layer of our would-be Frosty's body. After 15 minutes, the body and the head were complete. Carly pulled off one of her buttons so Frosty could smell the cold, now almost sterile city. Sarah said, "But they're the last two in the bag," whenever Carly told her to fork over her raisinets for the eyes. I forgot how the mouth was made. Anyway, it was finished. Next I told them we should have mixed the snow and green food coloring so we could have made a Frankenstein snowman. Carly didn't think it was funny, and neither did the rest of her friends. Sarah stood looking at her creation puzzled. Then she looked over at Carly and said, "There's something missing." As if she picked up on it right away, Carly blurted out, "It's corncob pipe." She looked around at everybody with her beautiful face, now filled with sadness. I said, "Well, it's not made of a corncob, but I do have a pipe." Carly reached her hand out, and I got second thoughts remembering the dime bag in my pocket. She said, "Come on," whenever I hesitated, and so there he was, our snowman, with my glass bowl in its mouth. I told Carly I had no idea she was so outgoing. Sarah said, "Dude, Carly goes out all the time." That's when I looked into Carly's eyes. Green met brown, and our mixed together vision colors created quite a romantic scene. She walked over to me and we embraced. Hugging her, I spun her around dozens of times. The snow was still steady falling. Then suddenly every light in the city shut off. All of Carly's friends cheered like the apple just dropped. We were still standing there in each other's arms, almost slipping off the icy sidewalk when Sarah asked, "So what's next?" Carly said she had no idea, and just like that the life of the party faded into a soul of memories I won't ever forget. Everyone went their separate ways, coming by to kiss Carly on the cheek one by one, even the guys, which made me jealous. There was no need for that. Everyone was friends, the good type of friends. Friends that would catch you if you decided to jump from the building. I never had friends like that in my whole life. All of mine were probably out right now wearing ski masks and stealing generators. More important than fitting in with her friends was that I actually fit in with her. She wasn't the type of girl who usually goes for me. First, she doesn't have trappy dyed hair, nor does she have a tattoo that looks infected. Carly doesn't have a drug problem or eating disorder. She doesn't even cut herself or take antidepressants. She's a drama major who doesn't need any major drama in her life. Perhaps choosing me wasn't the best idea. Still, I'll stay undercover until I can be the kind of person who's good for her. All of her friends were gone except for Sarah, who now stood before us shivering. Carly laughed and told her, "You may need more on than a halter top if you plan on staying out much longer." Sarah smiled like the old Hall and Oates song, changing the subject completely when she asked, "What do you have to eat, Carly?" The three of us went back into our apartment, stumbling over nothing but the couch. After that, the three of us sat on the floor in the candlelight eating cold pizza. Sarah ate almost all of it before getting up and saying, "Well, I guess I'll let you two snow doves be alone." She pointed her finger at me and said, "You better not make her cry or I'll kick your ass." Her and Carly blew each other kisses and she walked out. Carly and I were alone for the first time. She looked at me with this inviting glance and said, "Well, I guess there's nothing left to do except sleep." I told her to stay awake and tell me all about her life. "That would take many, many nights," she said. Instead of us talking then, we saved the conversation for later as she kicked off her wet snow boots, slid off her jeans and laid down on the sole piece of furniture she owned. I got on top of her and brushed her brown hair away from her face. We kissed and kissed and kissed for eternity, it seemed, before I finally entered her. Despite the snowstorm and the lack of heat due to the power outage, Carly and I lay there sweating after it was over and the love was made. We shared a cigarette and talked for a while. I saw her eyelids painted blue were starting to hang low. I never wanted us to sleep. I wanted this moment to last forever. Fatigue took us both into the land of dreams. There were no monsters like there was in my nightmares. Instead, I dreamed that Carly, her friends, and I built an entire society of snowmen before bombing each other with snowballs. I woke the next day to find Carly crying like a baby. I asked, "What's wrong?" That's when she told me that the sun melted our snowman. The worst part was my bow had probably been taken or broken by now. I didn't let on that it was even an issue. I just kissed Carly and told her that there would be other snowmen. There were a lot of other things I'd never experienced waiting just around the corner for her and I to pass. Thank you for listening to that very lame story. Goodbye.